feel like dancing like last no and dancing.
Now the song where you put for my mouth. Now him and the singer. Now the song where you put for my mouth. Now him and the singer. Come on. And the singer so. And they dance to you, dance to you. I they dance to you.
Open eye. Why you're just always like that?
Oh my God, these two I always don't understand why I always do you guys, but then again, no problem.
We love you too.
What did she say?
We love you too.
Thank you very much. Okay. People of God, we are here again.
Again and again.
Did you miss us? Did you
Why
miss
would I
us?
miss-
Did
why
you
would I
miss
miss-
us?
Yeah, of course.
Why? For
Always
why?
say the truth for
Anthony.
once.
Just see, Anthony.
Maka, why? Why would I miss you?
Anthony, be honest for once in your life.
Are you guys footing my bills? Why would I miss you?
We're sorry, but you need us though.
No offense.
How?
Yeah,
For
sorry.
where?
But don't worry, when we are not on set, you always miss us.
Of course.
For what?
But no
now?
problem. No problem. We're not going to talk about that. I feel like we were so excited at the beginning of this
Yeah,
because of this.
true.
This is song good. This is song.
Oh my God, this
Song,
song is
song.
touching.
His name
oh
is
my God.
Paul Kofa.
That's my guy. Where?
Oh, he's your guy, where you don't know his song. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay. I'm beginning to think that we should change the topic that we're supposed to talk about today.
Okay, man.
No. I don't want us to. You know why? This song is the appropriate remedy for for this topic. Like it's capable of elevating one when you are being depressed. Oh,
Can you just actually?
It's depression.
Okay, so we're talking about dealing with depression today. Dealing with depression. Hey, personal confession.
I swear I'm a victim.
The country is not smiling on everybody now, so we all are prone to be depressed in one way or the other.
Funny enough, I actually gave a friend or a colleague a list to tick about depressed people, like what makes you depressed. I want to read them out.
Okay.
Do you feel sad and hopeless? That's a tick for a lot of people.
True.
Are you just angry for no reason?
It's
That's
true.
another tick for people.
Very true.
You don't have interest in what you loved before.
True.
Another tick. You have sleep disturbance.
Oh,
Here in Nigeria, you either have one or the
Or
other.
the other.
It's either you sleep too much or you
or
sleep.
you don't even
Or you don't
sleep.
sleep at all.
Exactly.
Very true. Ticked. Bring them up.
Tiredness. Or,
True.
like you just don't want to move. You just want to.
Yeah.
Let me just sit down in my house and
Like,
do
let me not
nothing.
just do anything.
Maybe not you.
Are you sure that can be an evidence of depression?
Of
Guys,
course, when you
being
feel
tired.
like you
You
feel
just
like
always
you
feel
want
tired.
to, and then you don't want to do anything.
Okay.
That's
Like
one
today,
of
I
it.
feel like lying down in my bed, like not
Me, I rather extend that to be laziness.
really.
No, it's not
okay.
actually. See, it's not about laziness.
Tired.
It is-
Even
at
when
this
you are
point,
not doing anything, that's laziness
yeah,
now.
it's not laziness. When you are depressed, it works on your physical as well as your mental.
True.
It plays with it.
Some
I was just busy trying to look for the language.
what is they call these people? They cancel people say.
Oh yeah, that's because I've seen a lot of psychologists.
Psychologists.
It's not my fault.
Psychologists.
It's not my fault. I've seen a
Yeah,
lot
of
of
course.
psychologists. We've had discussions with
I've seen it.
That's
psychologists.
because you've been depressed before.
I already
I
mentioned
don't
that.
get it.
Okay. No,
She's not denying.
That's not a
She's
problem.
denying
No,
it.
I already
This
mentioned
today.
that. I already mentioned that. Like personally, I've had an issue of mine wasn't depression. It was more panic disorder, but it was really connected to depression. So at some point in my life, I literally did not want to talk to anybody.
That's true.
Like I just wanted to be in my room all alone, doing nothing.
That's what depression causes. Like you isolate yourself.
Exactly. So I went to the doctor and she said, "Oh, did you think that you're depressed?" I'm like, "No, how can I be depressed? No, it's not possible." And next she's like, "No, sister, you are."
You are depressed.
So to today we're talking about dealing with this depression. What is it that makes you come out of depression? See, for instance, you have already identified, as we said, my list, it still goes on. There's still more.
let's
Should I
know now.
continue?
Let's-
Of course,
yes,
give it
yes.
to us. A lot of people are
You are
ready to hear
educating us
that.
too. Well, let us know.
Reduced appetite, but you're gaining weight.
Wow. Wow.
Like really wow.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, don't mind me. They just come hand in hand. Is either you're eating too much or you're eating too less. Sometimes it just comes
And yet
either
it will
ways.
affect your your
It's
increasing
either you're
weight.
gaining weight or you're losing weight. Either way.
So is, yeah.
It's still part of depression though. And then anxiety, restlessness. You're just
course
anxious
now.
for no reason. And then you think slowly. Everything is slow. And you're forgetful.
Ah, I have someone that we call her slow.
You already have
But that's not
recounted
depression.
that story for us.
Wait. I don't think that's
So I
depression. I
remember.
think that's just nature.
That's-
Don't let's not
Yeah,
Ours
bullshit.
was caused by something else.
And then feeling of worthlessness is like I don't really matter.
You don't what
No,
you don't watch
true,
anything.
true. I think that's one of the things that is making people depressed.
depressed.
Yes, because you feel less of yourself. You feel you're not important. You feel like you don't mean anything to anybody. For instance, let's say, okay, let's use relationship now, heartbreak, and then you just feel like, okay, nobody wants me or he doesn't want me, so what do I do? Like, you just decide to tell yourself that I'm no longer important. Who said you're
Then
no
from there,
longer
you start thinking
important?
of suicide.
Do you get no? The thing is,
Are you
once-
reading my list?
yeah, of course. Once you are depressed, the only option or rather the next thing you want to think of is to
to take
commit
your life,
suicide,
yeah.
because you just feel like that's the end for you. Like there's nothing important to live for again. But no, that's not it. Like you can't tell yourself that, oh, this life as is sweet, die like this. Why do I want to commit suicide? Like, I understand if you are depressed, but then you can just seek for help. Like, you can get people you can talk to. It's very simple for you to feel, okay, this is the way I'm feeling, and then sometimes people don't want to just open up. Like, for me, like when I was depressed, like I didn't want to talk to anybody.
That's
Like, I
number one
felt
factor. That's number one
yes,
thing
yes.
that comes
I
from
felt like
depression.
talking to, like, I didn't want to open up.
You don't want to
Like, I don't want to
yourself.
explain anything to anybody. I just want to be all alone. Like, I stayed in my room for like 3 days.
Lalas, you know what I find interesting? You know the whole, yes, you want to be isolated, but do you know what stuck to me when I was really, when I was down, when I was at that point? It was the fact that I felt at that moment that nobody in this whole earth would understand
How you're feeling.
what I'm going through.
Sure. I agree.
You know, one thing about depression is it drains your anger, it drains your hope, and then so many vibing things that are worth doing. You will feel they are probably impossible for you to do, and as well they are difficult for you to do. But then you should be able to differentiate between impossibilities and things that are difficult. Impossible things are things that you can't do at all.
You can't do.
But difficult things are things that doesn't mean you can't do them, but for the
can
fact
do
that
them,
you're
but
not
then you're
stretching
finding
your
it
force
difficult,
doing
yeah, for
them,
you to do
that's
it.
why you feel they are
Yeah.
impossible. But then once you are depressed or you are seeing some signs of being depressed, what you're supposed to do as human is, one, do the things that are opposite to what you are feeling to do at that moment in time. If you are feeling to isolate yourself, go out, vibe with people, go to your loved
Makes
ones,
sense.
make calls,
Go to church and pray, sing.
like, do a lot of vibing things that will get you out of
I
that.
love your point. It makes a whole lot of sense, but there's a
But-
problem there.
That's the problem. Please tell me.
I think you will understand it well. When you are depressed and you think that you just wake up and start going to
that's
bed.
not good.
I'm not saying no. I said
It's actually a difficult
wait. I
situation.
said it's a very difficult thing, but then the appropriate way, the appropriate thing to do at that point in time is to do the opposite of the things that you feel are difficult for you to do.
That's very true.
I'm not saying it's simple for you to do, but then you don't see them to be an impossible things. But things that you feel that you can do it, but for the fact that you are feeling or having that feeling is the reason why you are being in that.
It's
those
not easy
things.
to be
No,
depressed,
I know. I've been there.
not
Virtually
easy,
everybody. Actually, everybody is depressed in one way or the other.
No,
like we are
when
going
you
through a
talk
lot of
about
things
being
and we are being depressed.
in one way or the other, yeah, maybe you can just say the society due to what is happening, so like you can just feel like that's just like on the lighter note.
Okay.
But then when you talk about deeper things that will cause depression, sir, see, let me tell you, but in fact, I've been into it like a couple of times that I can't even explain. But then when I started seeing this doctor, and then he told me, he was like, people think depression is just being sad or
Yeah,
just
a lot
being
of people
angry.
do.
That is the mentality they have. But then it's not like that. He was like, I know it's very difficult for you to try to say something to anybody. You just want to be left alone. Like, you just feel like even when you talk to this person, the person won't even understand. Like,
You get
he
it.
would, like, you just feel like the person should just be inside of you to have that particular feeling you're having. But then, if you are depressed, I think it is easier said than done. Because when you feel you are depressed, you can tell yourself, okay, if you're depressed, tell someone you're depressed, or rather
True.
talk to someone. But then deep inside is not like that. I couldn't talk to anybody when I was like,
You will even find it very difficult to express yourself.
you will find it very difficult to even want to see anybody. Like, you won't even want to talk to anybody, you won't want to see anybody, you just want to be left alone. But then there's always hope out there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say we are not here to make you feel depressed.
In
In a
actually.
depressed situation, because like every other person that is living in this country
We're
right
just
now
trying
is
to,
that
we're
is
just trying to
depressed.
like,
But-
tell of the feeling of how depression
we
can make one
we
to-
just want
to
you
be
to
like-
understand that we feel your pain, we know your pain, we got out of it.
Of
You
course,
can
I'm
get
out of it.
Oh my god.
I'm out of it. Like,
People
I am
of
proud
God.
of myself.
I am a
understand. Are you
living-
me?
No, just
I'm
want to-
out of it,
just want
sir.
to
This
be
is
sure.
like
No, Anthony,
I'm out
you have
of
been
it. You
on
don't
my
need to ask
matter
me if I'm
since-
sure, but I'm out of it. Like, this was my situation. Like, I can't even call it my situation, but then I was in it. But then I'm out of it.
I'm out
sir.
of it. I'm a
Like,
testimony.
I'm a living testimony to tell
So
you
can
that
you share with us some of the things that you did during your time of depression?
I had to talk to someone to start with.
Okay, aside from talking to someone, what else do you do?
Okay, mostly I listen to music.
That's very good.
Like, I listen to music, the one I can dance with, the one that, like, most times I don't even listen to music because I want to understand what it's saying, but because of the sound of it, the vibe, like, just that thing that's going to make you like, okay,
Shaking
gradually
your
you don't
head.
realize you want
my,
to
start
my mind
moving
was the
your
other way
legs.
around. I began
Listen
to
to the
listen to
wording.
music because of the lyrics.
no, like, that was my
Because I needed
situation.
some things that
Because I
would
needed to
encourage
just
me.
dance. I needed to just not even think of it again. And then when I spoke with this doctor, and then I realized he was saying a lot of things that I was going through. Then he was like, I was once in your situation, then why do you think I'm here today? I'm not saying you should be a doctor as well, but then I'm just saying that
You
if
might
I can
just-
be out of this, you can. And like, really, I am out of it. Like, you can't even tell me, I can't even tell you I was once depressed, and then you feel like you were once depressed.
What's
Like, how
depressing you?
do you get? But then there's always hope out there. You can listen to music, you can talk to someone, you can even
You can even spend time with nature and your loved ones.
You know,
Good, like
before,
your loved one.
before I found out, or before I noticed that I was
Depressed.
tilting a lot towards depression, I'm not sure whether I was totally in depression or just at the door of depression, but it was somewhere in between.
terrible
You
situation.
don't know what was doing.
I was just, yeah, like I really just had no clue what was going on in my life anymore. I really just thought that, is there any importance of living? I think I felt like I was just being alive, but not really
just,
living. I'm just
wow.
existing. At some point, that's how I felt. But before I found out that was what was wrong with me, I heard of a testimony from this woman who lost her husband, not to death though, but lost her husband to divorce, more like
Yeah.
that. Lost her dad around the same period to death. She was so
Terrible.
depressed that they even had to rush her to the hospital at some point in time, and she called the reverend and was like, this might be the last time he will hear from her. She thinks that she's going. Okay, at that point, she had already given up on life.
Of course.
But you know what I found interesting? It was the response of the reverend.
Which was
He told her he's not going to see her in the hospital. Rather, he's waiting for her to get out of the hospital to come and see him in his house.
Wow.
That was her wake-up call.
That's
wow.
fate.
That's faith.
For some people, depression gets you to a point that you are not listening to
anybody.
anything or
True.
anybody.
That's true.
But you know what I find interesting? There's another thing that got me out of that situation, and that's called the serenity prayer. It says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So some things will happen. You cannot change it. Let's move on. Continue.
on.
Life goes on.
Just care.
The courage to change the things that I can has situations that have I been in situations that I caused by myself. If I can change it, let me change it. And the wisdom to know the difference, living one day at a time. Enjoying one moment at a time.
True.
So like you're taking every step. These are some things that I kept on telling myself. It's not everything you can change. The world does not revolve around you always. So sister, take your time. Take it easy. It's not all about you.
One thing that people fail to understand is that depression is common, right? To me, it's common because one way or the other, it's either the society or like one factor or the other will shall lead you to being depressed. And then one thing that people fail to understand is depression is like it's something that have affected about say over millions of people, and you should know that you are not the only one depressed in life. And if people are going through depression and then coming out of it, then you also can come out of it.
I like that you adjusted that, because when you said you should know that you are not the only one that is depressed, I feel like it was just telling the person to be more depressed. But thank God you said that people have come out of it. I want to continue this. He said the next thing that is mentioned here is accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. So sometimes the hardship that you're going through is just a phase.
True.
See, depression,
there are all stages in life.
it's all stages. And then the next thing says, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is, so you know that this world is sinful. Those are reminders that you keep on telling yourself so that you will not be overwhelmed by troubles that are going on in this world.
Aside from that, as humans, we'll definitely be faced with a lot of challenges. And what are these challenges? Depression is also involved.
Of course.
So you should know that whenever you're being faced with issues like this, what you do is one, pray about it. Open your mind to your loved ones. Like, don't try to isolate yourself. Don't try to not to express yourself, thinking people will not understand
as much
what
as it's difficult.
Even if it is difficult, try to explain yourself to someone. Perhaps the person might even have a story to tell you that is even more worse than what you are passing through. So it's just about you being expressive, you not isolating yourself, but rather getting yourself acquainted with people, like involved with people, so that you will get out of that mood. For me, it's a mood and it's a feeling, and feeling comes and goes. So you shouldn't, because of the fact that you are in the you're in that present situation, should prompt you to either losing your life or doing something nasty to yourself. Sure. It's a feeling and it comes and goes. The way you feel depressed is the same way you feel happy tomorrow. So it's a feeling.
You know what's interesting again? I feel like I've just not allowed Lala to say anything on these sets. Oh my goodness. Should I keep my point?
No,
go
ahead.
Okay. Why not?
So what I found interesting was that we had a typical case of depression in the Bible. I don't know if everybody remembers the story of Hannah.
Okay.
Hannah was depressed. But we know where Hannah went to look for help from. She went straight to the altar of God and cried it out there. That's another way.
True. That's another way.
See, it's not easy to remember that you have a God at that moment when you're down. But please, if there's any window that you remember that you have a God, just
run
go
to him.
Run,
because there's a promise he told us. He said, "Come to me." Like all are heavy.
Did not say any half of
like
everybody.
If you have that problem, like he said, come to me. That shows that his arms are widely open,
and he's aware
for you to come. He is aware. So then you should come to him and then just lay your problems on him. Like, he is willing and ready and available to just take it away from you. Like, why would you think that you want to take your life, the life that was given to you by God himself, that you want to take it away? You want to take it away? Like, that's you trying to do something that God did not ask you to help him to do. He has plans for you already, and then he knows the right time you're going to die and how and when, and Why? So why would you just end your life because you are depressed? You feel you're not important to anybody. You feel nobody wants you. Who said nobody wants you? Christ wants you.
If he did not want you, why would he take his time to need
To
you?
need you like beautifully,
uh,
wonderfully. You're the apple of his eyes. So even when you're depressed, remember there is God. Remember there's this one person you can run to. No matter how you feel like you don't want to talk to any other person. Like for me, I felt I didn't want to talk to anybody. Like I felt there's no need. That was when I was kidnapped, and then when I was released, I felt like, okay, yeah, even when they paid the ransom, I was like you would have just allowed me to die. Because like what's the point of you wasting huge amounts of money?
Depression talking.
Do you get it? Actually, but then it got to a point that I told myself, why would I want to die? Like I don't understand. If God would allow these people to kidnap me and then still allow them to release me, then that means there's a purpose for it.
I was saying before we came on this set that I didn't want this show to be a depressed show. We're talking about depression, but it should not be depressed. But then again, it just seems like it is going that way. But what we are just saying is that there is hope
out there. There's hope in Jesus. Christ is our hope. So then whatever it is you want to do, remember that he is always available. He has given us that promise already. Come to him. So why would you want to waste your time in just feeling like, deal with it, like this is a phase, it will come and it will pass. So then just that moment you're going to face that thing, always have at the back of your mind that you have God in you. Like he is always there for you to run to. So then deal with it at that point in time and just let it go. Like the devil is always ready, he's willing, he's always available to just take advantage of your situation, like just to make you feel bad. But no, deal with it.
Exactly.
Just man up. That's what they always say. Man up. Like just tell yourself that you can't. Devil, no, flee from me. Like just get thee behind me. Like don't let me fall because I have God. So then always tell yourself that even if I'm depressed, even if I feel, most times you can just feel you don't like this person because the person is good. Maybe because the person is, maybe he has some things, like just some unnecessary reasons for you to just make yourself feel sad, or just make yourself feel like this person is more important than I am. But no one is. We are all equal in God's eyes. So then why would you want to do that to yourself? So then always tell yourself that I am important. I am the apple of God's eyes.
Exactly.
So I will definitely live and
Exactly.
fulfill that plan that God has for me.
I just wanted to remind you something. See, the Bible says we are hard pressed on every side but not crushed. Why are you not crushed? Because you have a God who loves you more than you can imagine.
True.
He also said that you are perplexed but not despaired, persecuted and not abandoned.
You're giving us the lines of
Oh my God.
the lyrics.
You are struck down but not destroyed.
I would have even suggested one thing for prudence. So
What?
it would have been better you consider being a psychologist.
Psychologist. Wow.
I'm not going to respond to that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to respond to that at all. I think we should wrap up.
I am being insignificant. Right now.
No. You're not being insignificant. I'm just not going to respond to that.
Okay.
But that's not my calling, though. That's what I just wanted to say. And
I have seen it.
Just try and be there for anyone out there who is dealing with
Yes.
depression. Anyone who is sad.
I just wanted to tell you out there that in case you notice someone who is burdened, who is stressed, you have seen a friend who has stressors, please be that person's way out.
True.
And
Be
Don't
that
add up to the
person's
person's
way
pain.
out.
Don't add up to the person's
Don't say that it is not your
depression.
business.
True.
If you see somebody that is in need of help, please don't say that it is not your business, because you don't know tomorrow when this person ends up committing suicide for some reason, because at the long run depression does lead to suicide.
True, of course.
If you allow somebody to commit suicide because you did not act
You did not help.
at the time you needed to, it will haunt you.
True.
like really hard.
So what we're just saying is that you should be a way out for a friend out there.
And it's
Somebody
only
is out
human
there
to be
crying.
depressed.
And
And
aside
it
from
is
that,
human to be
It is
depressed.
human
And
to be
please,
depressed.
in this our day and age, if you see me on the road, please just ask me how am I doing?
Simple.
Am I fine?
Even if you
am I
don't know
doing
me,
good?
just
Because
smile
in this
at
Nigeria,
me.
everybody is depressed.
Everybody's depressed, like everybody's depressed, but then let's all be happy for each other. Let's all look out for each other. It doesn't really matter if you know this person or not, but at least when you put a smile on someone's face, it goes a long way. You don't know what that person is going through. You don't know at that moment. Like you can just see someone, maybe the person is just quiet. Like just try and be like, "What, are you okay?" Even when the person is even laughing and smiling and all of that, it could be that that person is going through a lot of pain, and then he's just trying to pretend to be fine, and then you don't know how he's feeling deep inside. But then just try to show love to someone out there. It doesn't matter, no matter how little it is, it will go a long way.
Try to show that love.
Show love, people. Show love. But right
show
now,
love.
we are going to sing our song and go.
Are we
Because
closing the show
apparently
already?
our time is running. Is out.
We are out.
Please.
I wanted to,
What am I saying?
I
We're
wanted to give
supposed
my
to
own
be.
advice, but then no problem.
Oh, you wanted to give an advice?
No,
Okay,
continue.
well,
You can say it
you
over
can
the
give
song.
Sidelines
You
me
can
now.
say
Give
it
it
over
over
the
the
song.
song.
Give it to us.
No, continue.
Give it to us.
I think he did not have anything to say.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
obviously. Because if you did, you would have said it.
Increase the
Bye
volume.
for now, people. Bye.
Bye.
You change the song.
This song is even like
It makes more sense.
That was